In my practice, losing weight equates to making a commitment to a healthy lifestyle change. The board behind me has signatures and weights for patients who have lost weight. And since I took this practice over 9 months ago, I want to point this out, I did not tell anybody to lose weight. I just told patients that there might be a way to maybe lower cholesterol medicines, get you off of blood pressure medicine instead of 3, maybe get you onto 1, or maybe lower sugars and not just go with insulin, but try using your diet. Ooh, what an ingenious idea, right? So the concepts are nothing new. It's just empowering people to not just rely on prescription medicines. The problem with prescription medicines, I should say there's a problem, but the problem with the use of prescription medicines is that if you just rely on a pill and don't make a change, the healthy lifestyle, then usually you're going to outrun that pill sooner or later, and you're going to need a double, or you're going to need another pill, or you're going to need to switch off to some surgical procedure. So that's why it's so important to first get grounded with the healthy lifestyle changes, and then if you can't change or you're in danger, then you go with prescriptions or surgeries. So these folks have made great strides. Sue is leading the pack with 25 pounds off since January, 9 months ago. Because I saw these patients coming in at their routine 6-month, 9-month checkup since January, I saw these numbers and it was so inspiring that I decided to also get healthier. I think I'm pretty good with my health, but I did some manipulation, and I'm on here too. I actually broke 140 pounds. I have not been able to get below 140 pounds in 15 years. And for whatever reason, that might be my set point, but I just threw in a couple of things that I tell my patients anyway. Intermittent fasting, or low glycemic foods, or now the poisonous things that we'll find in foods that sometimes stimulate a hormonal response. Being more conscious with that has had me drop below 140 pounds. But hopefully I haven't lost too much muscle mass, but again, I feel healthier than I ever have. My objective for my patients and myself is to really get to 90 years of age with as little medicines and surgeries as possible, and to also feel just as happy as I did when I was in my 20s. Same thing with my patients. So if weight loss or pure weight loss is the way or means that you're embarking on health lifestyle change for whatever reason, class reunion, you're just tired of taking medicines, whatever the reason, I'm going to help you now with this video. So a couple of patients have asked me, how can I lose more weight? And I think there's a couple of key components that I might be able to add to your current practice that might help you, or rearrange a couple things. But the first is to have some form of fiber. I think that the American diet is lacking fiber, and fiber is healthy for a couple things. It's healthy for keeping a good gut probiotic milieu. The gut-brain relationship is so important, and when the gut is unhappy, the brain will be unhappy. When the brain is unhappy, you hunt, you look for fast reward. That's going to be in the form of fast food or bad food. So keeping your gut healthy is important. That's why I like fiber. Fiber also gives a sense of satiety too. When the stomach is satiated, then you have a sense of, I'm full, and that's a good feeling. When the brain constantly has growling, or if you're constantly thinking about the Big Mac or the steak, egg, and cheese bagel that you turned up or turned down this morning, then eventually you're going to break. The brain and food products and the food industry has great ways to make you contemplate what you deserve today. You deserve a break today. This bud's for you. Whatever it is, you have the food industry you're fighting, you also have the cravings that you're fighting. So sometimes satiety will help you with those cravings. I think eating more than, I have a couple of truck drivers who eat just once, maybe twice a day. That's because they're not hungry. That is not the way a human survives. So I think that there are better choices for dividing up your eating, for giving a little bit of pancreas stimulation. Pancreas is the organ right here, right next to the stomach, and it secretes enzymes when you eat. It also secretes enzymes when you don't eat, and tells the brain time to eat. So by keeping the pancreas and the stomach happy, you keep the brain happy. When the brain's happy, you'll survive. It'll be sustainable. So fiber is a way to do it. There's fiber insoluble and soluble in the form of capsules. This is cool. This is my go-to, but it's a little pricey. So when I've run out of my allowance for the month and I can't buy any more capsules, I go to just bulk fiber. This is psyllium. It's organic psyllium from organic India. I picked this up at Fruitful Yield. You can probably get it anywhere. Psyllium is the stuff you'll find in Metamucil, but this is organic. The cool thing about psyllium is that it provides fiber. 3 teaspoons of this in a glass of water, 2 times a day for me, will give you about 6 grams of fiber, 4 to 6 grams of fiber, which is pretty good. I'm on my way to 25 to 35 grams a day or more. So when you have fiber, yes, your poop comes out softer, or at least it comes out. Some people will only poop once a week. I don't know how that's not healthy either. I don't care if it's normal for you, that's not healthy. You might want to get your thyroid checked, you might want to get your magnesium levels checked, but that's not healthy. As we know with cholesterol, when you have high fiber, the cholesterol doesn't get recirculated back. The liver really knows to get rid of cholesterol. It puts it in bile, and the bile mixes with food. The residue of the food, as it forms your poop, will keep the bad cholesterol in it and take it out into the toilet. Then you're done with your cholesterol. When you have low fiber in your diet, not only do you not feel that you're satiated, but also cholesterol recirculates back in, and it causes a problem later on. Now that probably doesn't have too much to do with weight loss, but again, the importance of fiber. So I think it is important. Now whether you choose to go with, if you choose Metamucil because that's all you have available, you have to be careful because there are some additives in Metamucil that could cause another problem. Benefiber, Fibercon, Metamucil, they're all out there. I just happen to like this because it's gluten-free. And no, you don't have to be gluten-free to lose weight, but I think when you're suffering from degenerative arthritis or some form of autoimmune disease or some form of irritable bowel syndrome, I'd probably get away from the common things that cause irritation, whether or not you've been blood tested and found positive to be allergic to that stuff or not. I think it's just wiser to get away from the crappy stuff. So satiety, very important. Fiber, I cannot express. I think people should try to get more clean and green, but if you can't, or if you're maxed, or that's just what's available because you're in a food scarce area, then buy this stuff online. Second thing, happiness. Again, I alluded to satiety before. You can also make sure, instead of worrying about the gut-brain relationship, just go straight to the brain. When you're in an average American lifestyle and eating the average American diet, again, change your diet, but the average American lifestyle has no no relaxation practice. And I think that's part of it. Just think of what you usually do when you're stressed out. You either bite your nails, you have a beer, you get away from it all, or you hunt for foods that might be rewarding. And that's a formula for danger. You're just setting yourself up for failure. If your ultimate goal is just to weight loss, if you have no form of relaxation or satiety of the brain, then you're going to hunt eventually, or your restrictive diet or your intermittent fasting will probably become low priority sooner or later. It's now September, so we have holidays coming up. October brings on Halloween, then there's Thanksgiving in November, then there's Christmas or Hanukkah in December, then there's New Year's in January. So we have all these holidays coming up. With all the holidays, you have feasts. With feasting, every month at a time, for the next couple months, you can run into some problems, especially when you're all stressed out, it's cold outside, you're in traffic, you're stuck on Lakeshore Drive, and you're snowed in. So there sometimes has to be some form of relaxation practice. If you don't have your own relaxation practice, get one. But if you've already had a good meditation practice, I think that sometimes settling the brain is important. CLA has been shown to, it's an oil, conjugated linoleic acid is an oil, and sometimes the use of certain oils will calm the brain down. It'll bring on satiety. I think that St. Johns Wort is important, especially in the winter time or when you have seasonal affective disorder. And again, we're walking into winter time. There's going to be more traffic. It's going to be colder. In Chicago, there's not many hours of daylight. But St. John's Wort kind of settles the brain a bit. It takes a little bit of time before St. Johns Wort kicks in, so you should get started soon if that's kind of you. If you feel a little bit depressed during the season, then you might want to get on top of things with this. It's relatively cheap. You have to look for certain things on the label for figuring out if it's a good St. Johns Wort product or not. I happen to get Vitamin Shops because I was there last. As far as which St. Johns Wort I choose, I usually go with Now Foods or Gaia brand, but I wanted to give this one a try. I even went to GNC, which I don't usually do, and I saw their St. Johns Wort, and it had the proper listing. As far as whether the stuff on the label is in the capsule or not, I'm hoping that industry will be true. But anyway, St. Johns Wort is good. The only problem with St. Johns Wort is it takes some time before the brain feels happiness and contentment with your lifestyle as it is, or your restrictive diet as you are getting to your summit. And usually it's a 3 times a day herb. It's not really a medicine, it's an herb. 3 times a day herb, takes a little bit of time, like 4 weeks before it kicks in. And it can interact with some things, so you have to be careful. You have to ask your doctor about whether it's safe for you. There's other options too, SAMe, valerian, 5-HTP, passion flower, skullcap, all these things will help you kind of relax. So just have to find what works for you, but just to introduce an idea. The other thing is also absorption of food. Once you have the food in you, sometimes there are some studies that show that if you take Garcinia cambogia, I know Dr. Oz got blasted for this, but yeah, there's some studies, and they're pretty good, but there's some studies that say when you take Garcinia cambogia from a good source, I like to go to consumer labs to have them review and test product. Again, I'm trusting a consumer lab is doing their job, but I think it's a good source. But they tested Genesis today, and they found that it was pretty decent with the amount of Garcinia that was in each of the capsules. So the idea is that it gives you a sense of satiety. It, in studies, was better than just diet alone. So doing this with about 10 minutes before your meal might help you lose a couple extra pounds. It's moderate, if anything. 3 to 5 pounds might be something that gets you over the edge. Again, I mentioned that I have broke 140, which I haven't been lower than as far as body weight for the last 10 to 15 years, and it's because I was inspired by my patients, but it's also because I practice what I'm preaching. So those are options for satiety. These are options for fiber and just increasing bulk and having cholesterol go out and all the other byproducts go out in your stool. And then there's also just being healthy with deficiency. So most Americans are lacking vitamin D, especially north of Georgia. Most Americans are lacking omega-3 fish oil, or I should say a total omega-3. That would be EPA and DHA. So this is the brand I'm using now, Vitamin Shop. I usually go with Nordic Naturals, Now Foods brand, or Carlson brand, depending on who's on sale at my local herb shop. I'm just trying a different brand now because it is a little pricey. The theory with using total omega-3 or omega-3 fish oil, I think omega-3 fish oil gets in better than flaxseed oil. I think that krill oil is a little too pricey for me compared to omega-3, and this does the job. So the only problem is finding the proper amounts. There is, I like my patients with cholesterol problems or inflammation to get 2,000 milligrams of total omega-3 in the morning and 2,000 milligrams at night. So if you look at your average bottle, it doesn't have that much per serving. So if you're going to get to 2,000, you almost might be taking 6 pills in the morning, 6 pills at night. These things are huge. I keep them in the fridge to prevent any burping or irritability in the gut. But having this as one of your priorities, you should spend the money, unless Lovaz is covered under your insurance. But if another priority, for me, I expect turmeric to be my priority because of the training I'm going through. So turmeric is more important to me than fish oil, so that's why I'm going with a cheaper brand. But hopefully it has what it has in it. So I think taking care of deficiency is very important. Vitamin D, omega-3, and then testing. Sometimes if you're low on magnesium, if you're low on B12, iron, it should be taken care of. Whether it's B12 shots, or B12 pills or drops. Iron is irritating, so you have to be careful about which brands you get. All that stuff Deficiency is important, especially to help you give the building blocks to the body to reverse its bad effects for the last couple 10 years and heal up properly. Also, because nutrition, it's not just nutrition to lose weight, it also is, again, some form of exercise and some form of relaxation. If you exercise more aggressively or just rely on exercise, you're going to lose. I think exercise, it helps lose weight, but exercise and nutrition helps lose weight more. Exercise, nutrition, and relaxation helps lose and keep the weight off. So I think the balance is very important. If you just go with exercise and or crank up the amount of steps you do in a day, the amount of machines you use, the weight that you're pressing, the incline on the treadmill, if you have no guidance, you might be, and you're not an athlete from before, you might be looking at a damage and or an injury, and that's going to set you back tremendously. So you have to pace yourself. When I look at all this stuff, you might think, wow, that's a lot of money. That's why I usually will pick and choose my fights as far as what's priority. But there are some very expensive brands that you can only get in doctor's offices. I don't think you have to do that with everything. There are also cheap brands that probably don't have anything in them. So ask your doctor or ask your nutritionist about what you should be getting, where you should be prioritizing. But again, if you have a basic plan of taking care of deficiency, always hydrating. This is my REI bottle I got when I went on a hike with REI. Always have to hydrate. I think it does help. Just drinking water doesn't help lose weight, but again, staying hydrated, which most Americans are dehydrated. So again, you're taking care of a deficiency. Dehydration is not healthy. It increases chances for irritability, increases chances for injury. Your body won't process properly, so take advantage of rehydrating, take advantage of deficiency fixing, take advantage of helping the brain attain some form of maximized relaxation practice or satiety or contentment. Whether it's through prescription medicines or whether it's through herbs. I think you can get it through herbs, but sometimes you might need a little bit of something to help calm down the nerves, like Xanax or SSRI or other things, but that's up to your doctor. And then maximizing on, if you can go clean and green, then you go with a whole food plant-based diet. But if you are limited, then you add something else for the time being. And then again, you always have to have a reassessment after about 3 months so you can project onto the next summit.